Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, everybody. This is Mr. Shakespeare here again. This is the 23rd of August, 2022, and I'm here with psychic medium and remote viewer Liz Cross. How are we doing today, Liz?
We're doing well. I'm just looking at this topic you've put in front of us, and I have no idea what this is.
Okay, so this is astrology. Sidereal and tropical, also known as tropical Western or just Western. These are two ways of looking at basically. Now, I'm no astrologer, so I'm not going to get deep into it. But
Neither am I.
Oh, good. Okay, but I want to know. I believe sidereal astrology is older than tropical Western. And if it is, why did tropical Western come into place? Why did we need it? I mean, if we already had sidereal,
Ooh, okay.
So I want you to group them together as an entity, sidereal and Western. Yeah.
Okay.
And ask them that question. Which came first?
The chicken or the egg? Which came first? I feel like, I'll tell you what they're telling me. I feel like they came out relatively close together.
Oh, okay. All right.
It all has to do with interpretation. And I feel like they both have very different interpretations.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
How can we ask this? Because they're biased. Should people who are learning or studying astrology, is the one that's better than the other to learn?
Is there one that's better than the other one? You could learn them both. But then you don't want to mix modalities, because I'm like, can you mix modality? And no, because you won't get a clear answer. It depends upon your location in the world.
Okay. So does that, okay, if I'm located in America, which one's better for me?
If you're located in, which one is better? Tropical.
Tropical for America. If I'm located in the United Kingdom, England, which one's better for me?
Sidereal.
Okay. If I'm located in India, which one's better for me?
Tropical.
Which is funny because there's lots of sidereal astrologers in India. If I'm located in Japan, which one's better for me?
Tropical.
If I'm located in Australia, which one's better for me?
Sidereal.
If I'm located in Nigeria, which one's better for me?
Nigeria. Sidereal.
And finally, if I'm located in South Africa, which one is better for me?
Tropical.
Very interesting. So there is a clear delineation about, it depends on roughly where you are in the world as to which one is actually more suitable for you. So if I'm in America, I should be using tropical, but if I'm in the UK, England, for example, then I should use sidereal. Yeah.
What is the significant difference between the two, other than the interpretation?
Yeah, so really one's about a month behind the other in simple terms. So, I mean, to give you an example, if you are, say, so we go with the sun signs, for example, all right? Basically your birth sign. Well, if you're tropical Gemini, for example, you would be sidereal Taurus, which is the one behind it on the wheel. Yeah. Sidereal seems to be the one behind it. Or you could look at it the other way around and say, well, sidereal is say your sun sign is Taurus. In tropical, you'd be Gemini. In other words, tropical is one advanced. So it depends. It's the chicken. Sorry, it's the chicken. It's the glass half full or the glass half empty. You know, is one behind the other or is one in front of the other? So that's, I don't know. I mean, I'm no astrologer. I don't know. But it does seem, in my opinion, I am based in England, it does seem that when I'm looking up things and trying to work certain things out, and bear in mind, I am no astrologer, that sidereal works better for me. And it's very weird. So I don't know why.
Oh, and what was your answer that I gave you?
Sidereal.
Oh, okay. Why does
you being in the US, you should use tropical.
Okay. Why does sidereal work better in the UK than tropical? Now, it all has to do with alignment.
Okay.
It has to do with planetary alignment. It has to do with longitude, latitude, fault lines. You know, what are those lines called in the earth, which are magnets? Gosh, I can't think now. But it has to do with like magnetic pull. It has to do with positioning. It has to do with culture as well. Culture plays a part in it also.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. This is one of these readings that I was expecting a slightly different set of answers, but I was definitely not expecting that. So in other words, I thought maybe one was much better than the other for X, Y, and Z reasons, for argument's sake. But it turns out that, you know, they're both valid, but it just depends on where you are. And so these are sort of ley lines. Is that what you mean? That type of thing?
Oh, ley lines. Yes. Thank you. Like I asked about Mexico, right? Mexico is sidereal.
What about Canada then?
What about Canada? Is Canada tropical or sidereal? Sidereal.
So that's interesting. The US tropical is sandwiched between two land masses, both of which are sidereal.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. Right. Okay. Currently, I believe, what do I believe currently?
I don't know. What do you believe currently?
That Mars is in Gemini, and it's going to be there for the next apparently 8 months. Apparently.
Oh, okay. So shall we probe Mars and see how that affects the fact that it's in Gemini? Ooh, okay. Already I've got Mars and I've got it's going to give us a split personality. So not only are we, what does that mean when you say split personality? So things are going to be really good and things are going to be really bad. I don't feel like there's going to be any in between.
Okay. So is that for everybody, depending on where, I mean, as a general thing, doesn't matter where on the planet you are?
Is that for everybody? Most people, yes. Does it matter where you are on the planet? No, we're going into a very rocky, I feel like the next year is going to be very rocky, actually. And also a lot of life lessons are going to be brought forward. And there's going to be, you know, quite harsh events going on, right? Even down to the individual level. And it's in order to transition past this phase into a more enlightened phase. What comes after Mars in Gemini?
I have no idea.
Well,
I mean,
we'll let our listeners know.
I think different planets are in different, you know, as things move. But I just know that it came up on one of my feeds that, you know, as from about the 22nd or 20th or something like that of August, that Mars is in Gemini for the next like 8 months. And that's a long time. And
it is, and it scares me. As soon as I started probing it, the harshness of this split personality is scary. So for those of us that experience events which are, it's almost like bipolar, right? So we're going to have things that are extreme highs, but things that are extreme lows. It's not good.
Right. Could we say that Mars in Gemini would energize the mind, you know, making it quick, or, you know, smart, witty, making it filled with possibilities, you know, busy, keeping it time, that, you know, it's a time for learning as well. Could that be said? I don't know.
I feel
way beyond my pay grade, I can tell you.
your pay grade. I remember those pay grades, especially back there. Yeah. So what I'm getting is learning. Yes. Yes, that's a strong possibility. I
mean, could it make you more, you know, I don't know, just this sort of, to me, it gives the impression that it makes it more,
okay.
Things will be faster. Your perception will be faster. You can understand things quicker, you know, picking up that type of stuff.
Yes. So when we get to the other side of this, yes. But whilst we are going through this, no. This is going to bring about a lot of devastating events in people's lives. Now, you know, I don't want anybody to go out and put sandbags in the doorways, but you're going to experience extreme emotions, right? You're going to experience like happiness and joy, but it's so split that the next day you could very well, you know, experience extreme sadness and depression and, you know, not so that's what I mean. But what happens is it's almost like it's refining our paths. So our individual paths, our spiritual paths, our enlightened paths. It's like juggling. It's almost like we're going to go where they tell us to go. Okay. People think that they have so much free will. I don't seem to find that at all. I think it's very much the opposite. We don't have a lot of free will. So, you know, we're like, because we're so full of water, right? And energy flows through water. Okay. That's why we're able to be pulled in different directions. Now, I never knew that until they just told me.
Well, we're about 97% water, I believe. So is this going to like you say, it's going to make us more distracted, making us more jumpy, neurotic? Should I use the word neurotic?
Make us, yes, neurotic, anxious. We're going to be waiting for the next shoe to drop, as it were, the next downturn, the next, the next hurdle.
Right.
It's really going to where you think you're getting somewhere in life, right? You know, you're making strides, and this is going to prevent us from doing that. It's going to say, okay, you can make this stride only if we hit you hard with something and it makes you change course slightly, and it'll keep making you change course until you're firmly on the path you're supposed to be on. I mean,
so a lot of corrections as you go.
Yeah.
Like that. Do you mean that? Yeah.
Yes, a lot of corrections. So we are on a designated path. Don't ever think that we're not really on the right path. Even when we're on a bad path, we're still on the right path because that's where we're supposed to be at that moment, right? But you're exactly right. It's going to be a lot of corrections there.
Right. So, as I understand it from my limited knowledge, whilst Mars is in Gemini, it'll be ruled by Mercury.
Yeah, that's not good.
Right. But Mercury goes retrograde in September, I believe. and I never like it when Mercury goes retrograde.
Oh God. Oh,
So
neither
can
do
we
I.
ask how the effects of Mercury retrograde in September will be whilst Mars is in Gemini?
So again, with Mercury being in retrograde, the bad events or the bad days that we will have, they become worse, right? So
Right.
it's a magnetic pull. It's a push-pull mechanism. With Mercury being in retrograde, it really highlights the need for how we change our lives. What do we need to do? We can't live like this any longer. We can't, continue with bad things happening to us, being around toxic individuals, people that normally were not toxic individuals may become toxic individuals, work environments may become hostile, things like that.
Okay. I think I might have got the dates slightly wrong there. I think, see, the thing with retrogrades is they have what they call shadows, I believe, where it's the time before and the time after. So I believe it's in shadow in September, but doesn't go properly retrograde until the end of October.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and look that one up because I need to know.
And look at that. Look how consistent that is with what we know from our probes, right? So if it's just in shadow and then it goes full retrograde, it doesn't surprise me that around
30th of October. There you go. Look at that.
30th of October, right. So that doesn't surprise me as we're getting into November and December. There are going to be pretty awful economic events going on.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get back out until March, I believe. The shadow finishes in March next year.
And that makes sense because when we've done our probes, we see a slight recovery in the spring of next year.
That's right, we do. Yeah. That's come through.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't like the retrograde. The last time we had a Mercury retrograde, the energy, I just didn't like it. I had, bad things happen. You know what? Now, I'm not going to say that terrible things are going to happen to you, but it just, even on an energetic level, you may feel really low.
Yeah. Well, yes. And you can say, you can again, more corroborating. I'm going to use the word evidence in parentheses because, I'm no astrologer, but like just these things that happen all at these same times, it's just, beyond coincidence to me. So.
Well, there's no such thing as coincidence. That's what I always say.
Wow.
All right. Any more questions about this? This was an interesting probe.
Nope, that's it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I've never done this type of thing before. So thank you. Again, psychiclizcross.com. And you can find me on the Patreon, remote viewing, and beyond. Thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.